Hello everybody and welcome to this next level webinar. As usual, I want to point out that our Reliv mission is to nourish the world in body, mind and spirit, and today in this webinar we are going to talk about the 8 mistakes entrepreneurs make. The source for this is at success.com. Now, there are a lot of principles in business that apply to our business, even though in our industry it is quite unique and different to what could be termed, in inverted commas, a traditional business. However, what we're talking about here is entrepreneurs and the things that can confront somebody who really wants to create a new lifestyle for themselves, someone who wants to create financial independence. And if you're really involved in wanting to build your Reliv business to create financial independence, you'll come up to things like this. So let's just consider some of the things, all right? First up, you might have an idea for a new business. You're so excited that you start telling your friends and family about it. And of course, in our instance, that new business is your Reliv business. And you're so confident that the products solve a big problem for people, okay? Well, you make a vision board and you start drafting your business plan. You recruit some family members and enthusiastic friends to work with you. You tell everyone about it. You share it. You know you're ready and prepared and willing to do whatever it takes to make this work. Well, maybe it's just not as simple as that. Of course, you've got to be positive. You've got to be enthusiastic. You've got to get out there and start talking to people, but you need to be prepared mentally for what's coming as well. And that's regardless of what anything that you do. And whilst a lot of this that we're talking about in this webinar today is generic across business, I'm going to bring it back to how it can relate to you in building your Reliv business. So, hello, my name's Birch. I'm the sales manager for Reliv Asia Pacific. And I tell you one thing, thinking that you're going to build your Reliv business through a textbook approach to entrepreneurial success is a bit of a mistake. Did you know that 66% of businesses fail within 8 years? And so you've got to wonder why the odds are so long, even for people who go out of their way to do what's exactly right. So a number of people have set out to find out why that is, and there's been some studies and research done into it. And the answers, some people might think, are quite startling. All the assumptions for this high failure rate, capital, location, credit, inventory management, competition, were actually wrong. Overwhelmingly, failure was not due to outside factors but to an internal one. And it wasn't economic, it was emotional. From these studies, the unexpected and terrifying havoc experienced in an entrepreneur's life was found to be the greatest factor in why most new business owners give up or go belly up. The terrifying havoc, the emotional upheaval, the what's coming next. But you know what? It doesn't have to happen to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some measures that can help you to ensure the full potential of the steps that you're putting into place to improve your life through your Reliv business can actually work for you. So, the 8 mistakes that entrepreneurs make. Mistake number 1 is being a big thinker and trying to dent the universe. As renowned universe denter Sir Richard Branson has said, when the first Virgin business began 40 years ago, there was no grand plan, especially not for a behemoth that would eventually employ 50,000 people around the globe. Branson once told Entrepreneur magazine, had we tried to plan for such a failure, we would certainly have messed it up. Sorry, had we tried for such a future, we would certainly have messed it up. The point is this, if you begin with illusions of grandeur, you'll probably never get started because it'll just seem too big. Or as Richard Branson said, you'll mess it up. You'll overestimate your sales, you'll overbuild, you'll overspend on doing things that aren't necessarily productive in building your business. You'll try and reinvent the wheel, reinvent the system. And remember, we have the Reliv success system, which is a proven method. But so many people get caught up and go and try to recreate it, start all over, create their own system. And while you're sitting there dreaming about your contribution to human progress, it's game over. You've missed it all because you've been sitting back thinking about how magnificent and huge this is going to be. Instead, what you need to do is start small. You need to start where you are. You need to get on with what you've got and sell something today. Go out and talk to people today. Go and talk to one person today or two people and one person tomorrow and then three. But start small, start today. Then you improve as you get better. You can't expect to start in network marketing and be earning $10,000 a month every month for the rest of your life from the first month. But what you can expect is to start small and take it step at a time. And the point is that you just need to improve consistently. So you focus on just getting better every day rather than focusing on your lofty goal or your vision. You need your vision. You need your lofty goal. But what you need to do is take things step at a time. If you've just got your eyes on your vision all the time and you're not looking at what steps you're taking, then you're going to trip over. Don't get me wrong, you need your vision, but you need to know what you're doing day to day. You need to take the steps. And remember, we have the Reliv success system, and you're going to hear me say this a lot through this webinar. And I'm not saying to never set goals. I'm not saying that at all. Because as we all know, if you don't give yourself direction, you'll wander aimlessly and nothing will change. On a day-to-day practical basis, thinking too big paralyzes you and keeps you from doing anything at all. So you might figure that if the product isn't revolutionary yet, or you're not changing the world, or you're not a product expert, you have a convenient excuse to wait, delay, continue to aim rather than work and work. And you might consider, well, if Reliv's not doing what I want, what I think is important, then I'll wait until they do. And what if Reliv doesn't agree with you and that doesn't happen? You may have a different view. Let me tell you something. There are tools in place. Reliv is at the forefront with product development. We have things like the mobile app, which gives you everything you need as a sales tool at point of sale when you're talking to brand new people, everything you need right there in the palm of your hand. And let me tell you something, you've heard it all before, but the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So think about today's step. Then with each step you take, work on growing and getting better. And in time, you'll travel so far in your constant growth that your world feels your step is slightly dented by it, because you're out there, you're making it happen. And you can dictate the rate your Reliv business grows by the amount of sponsoring activity that you do. Mistake number 2 for an entrepreneur is being excited and expecting those around you to be excited for you. And I'll bet just about everyone's fallen into this trap, especially with family. Again, don't get me wrong, you've got to be excited, you've got to be enthusiastic, but you've also got to be careful. And you know what? It's that excitement and enthusiasm that people start, that they get out there. Their first 1, 2, 3 months should be the biggest sponsoring months they ever have, because they're driving on enthusiasm. And that is fantastic. But just be careful. There's a story about 2 men. And one guy asks, how successful does a person need to be? And the other one replies, I guess as successful as you can be. And the first guy says, no, just more successful than your brother-in-law. What this means is your wife will be happy with you and her life as long as it's better than her sister's. That's the moral behind that story. The point is that, like it or not, people are constantly comparing themselves to each other. We only know how good or bad something is by contrast. It's good compared to what? It's easy for people to read about celebrities and other superstar achievers and see their success as something out of reach. But if someone in their immediate circle, someone just like them, breaks out of that herd of mediocrity, it eliminates all their excuses. And let me tell you, most people have become quite attached to their excuses. When you overcome similar obstacles and succeed, you're making them look bad and feel bad. That's what they think. Your success disturbs their status quo and their ego becomes vengeful, and they can try and drag you down. And I'll bet everybody who's listening to this webinar has experienced that, and I'll almost guarantee 100% of you have experienced it from a family member or a very close friend. Because you know what? People will say, oh, they're happy for you. They'll say that they'll support you in your dreams. But you know what? Secretly and maybe unconsciously, they're hoping you'll fail. They're hoping you'll prove them right. That the fears that are holding them back from also becoming a successful entrepreneur are valid. They want to justify the fear that paralyzes them from taking the steps and taking the risks and actually breaking out. They want to validate that and justify that within themselves. So they want to see you fail. And I know it sounds terrible, but I'm telling you, this is how some people think, and they will try and drag you back, and you have got to go past these people. Do not expect everybody is going to be happy for you when you start to get successful. Some people may even engage in covert tactics to sabotage your ambitions. And what they'll do, they'll use weapons of doubt, teasing, mockery, sarcasm, and innuendo to ensure that they're right and their ego is again secure. And again, I'll bet, if not all, most people listening or watching this webinar have experienced that. Okay. Mistake number 3, and this is a big one for us with Reliv, being in love with your product and not your client. The challenge for us is that our products are so fantastic. We know our products are amongst the best in the world. We know that people get amazing results from our products. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about your product, particularly if you've spent countless hours making sure you know what it's all about, talking to people, getting your stories ready, learning other people's stories. Well, let me tell you something. Funnily, the number one seller in any category is not always the best product. You know what? The best-selling brand on many occasions is the one that is marketed the best. The question for you, how well do you market your product? Remember, in network marketing, you are the marketing. You are the sales and marketing division. It's all word of mouth. That's what network marketing is about. People sometimes criticize, not just with Reliv, but other companies. I've heard it. They criticize the company saying you should be doing more advertising. You don't understand if that's the thought you have, because the money that other companies put into advertising is the money that network marketing companies put into their compensation plan to pay you, the distributor, for your word of mouth to get out there and talk to people and market your product. If your business is not growing, you're not talking to enough people. It's really that simple. And of course, yes, brand awareness is important, but word of mouth is proven to be the most powerful form of advertising and marketing. Studies suggest that the product accounts for only 10% of a business's success, with 90% of it coming down to sales and marketing. And that's even with products as good as ours. Okay? Because no matter what business someone's in, like someone may not be in the dry cleaning business or the insurance business or the nutritional supplement business. Okay? It's in the marketing business. You need to be better at sales and marketing. This doesn't mean you have to go and get a degree. All it means is that you use the tools that are provided and get out there and be active. Use the tools that Reliv provides for you and get out there and be active. And particularly use the mobile app. If you're not using it and you're not familiar with it, become familiar with it. Stop sitting on your laurels and complaining if that's what you're doing. Get out there and work. Use the tools that are provided. Every single Monday, a new webinar comes out. Once a month, a leaders call is done with one of the top leaders within Reliv. An exclusive leaders call. A week later, that is transcribed into a podcast and released for everybody. And you know where you can hear that? On the mobile app or on the training page, on the Reliv Asia Pacific training page. You need to take action, and you need to actually use the tools that are available. Now, a key factor is this, and this is generic, but I tell you what, it works for us. Fall in love with the prospective new customer or distributor. You need to learn how to get inside the head and heart of your prospect, to feel their desires and hopes and fears and problems, because when you hear that, then you know how it is you need to market to them. And let's face it, we are in sales and marketing. People like to think, I'm not a salesperson. Well, you know what? You are, because you're actually selling yourself. And if they buy into you, they'll buy the product. If they buy into you, they'll come on as a distributor and buy into your business and buy into the vision that you create of them being able to improve their lives. It's important that you need to learn how to transmit this love through your sales and marketing communication. If you connect heart to heart with someone, they're buying into you and they will follow you. And you know what? Once you've done that, people get on board and they beat a path to you and your revolutionary product and our revolutionary product that we have here with Reliv. Okay, mistake number 4 is being cheap and not investing enough in people, marketing, and learning. Let me tell you, this is the big one. There's a lot of people who expect that Reliv should provide everything for them and they're not prepared to invest anything. Do you know what? If you're committed to your Reliv business to create financial freedom for yourself, then you need to invest. You need to invest time, and you need to invest money, and you need to invest energy. The product, the inventory management, the delivery, the customer service, the sales tools, the marketing materials are all provided by Reliv, but you need to invest. And I tell you what, adages become adages because they're true. It takes money to make money is a perfect example. Because in growing a business, there is 1,000 ways to spend your money, but there's 3 that matter the most. And that is people, marketing, and personal growth. Let's just focus on people here at this point. Jack Welch, who was a former CEO of General Electric, said during an interview, no matter the innovations and changes in the marketplace, the one thing that hasn't changed is that the team who fields the best players wins. And today is a dynamic and highly competitive marketplace in all industries, not just our own. And I tell you what, the battle is for talent. And you have to keep looking for the best. You have to keep going out there, prospecting, talking to people, telling your story. Because I tell you what, A-level talent from a time and energy perspective is actually inexpensive in the long run. Because A players will always produce above the price you are paying. But B and C players are very costly in so many ways. B and C players can suck up your time and suck up your energy and give you not the results that you require. If you're looking to really build a business and create financial freedom, you need to find the A players. Now, the B and C players fit into your business, but you plug them into the system. You spend the most of your time with the A players, and you find the A players by you going out there and keep prospecting and keep sponsoring and keep telling stories, and you do it day in and day out. Day in and day out, consistently doing it. Talking to people, 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 talking to people. Considering that the largest portion of your time and energy is consumed in sponsoring activities, or it should be if you're really serious about building your business, it's critical that you get your team building right. So I tell you what, one bad apple can slow your growth. You spend your time on somebody, and you know who I'm talking about, those people who just suck your time and suck your energy. Oh, I just need a bit more help here, just a bit more help, just a bit more help. What you need to do is you have a pattern and you have a system. We have a system. You use it. And with your new people, you're out there 3 and 4 times working with them, showing them how to do it, and then it's up to them to do it. You can't keep going and doing it yourself. That is not creating leverage. Because the cost of a poor performer is simply not what's in your wasted time, it's much higher. Because when you consider the time and resources you'll spend with them, and then the amount of time and energy you have to rebuild to create more momentum that was lost through them, the value of the lost opportunities, and the therapy your organization has to undergo to stop the cancer that they often spread, the cost of a poor performing team member is huge. You've got to keep sponsoring and looking for the diamonds. You don't need negative people in your business. Leave them as preferred customers and just let them use the product. The B and C players, you bring them in as distributors. They make their bit of money every month, and that's okay. That's what they want. That's what they need. But you plug them into the system that you spend your time with the diamonds. You spend your time with the A players. Mistake number 5 for entrepreneurs is being like your father and repeating the leadership sins of the past. What this basically means, let's look at it like this.